Sense, which surveyed over 1,000 parents or family members caring for a disabled person across the UK, found that 55% admitted to borrowing money from friends or relatives to pay bills, while 77% said that the crisis was affecting their mental health. 40% say they will go without food to save money, according to the new research. So I'm joined now by Richard Kramer, the Chief Executive of Sense, who wrote the report. Hello, Richard. Good morning. First of all, why did you feel the need to do this assessment of the situation here in the UK?
Well, families are telling us that they're finding it impossible to pay their energy bills. They're cutting back on essentials. More and more people are getting into debt. And they're also saying, no, we can't wait until the outcome of the leadership election. We can't wait for a support package that might come in the autumn. So actually today we're launching an emergency fund which are going to provide grants to 1,000 households who've been affected by this poverty crisis and are struggling to pay their bills.
So just let me get that straight so that our GB News viewers and listeners understand. So your charity, Sense, has realised this is at such a crisis point that you are giving out cash handouts of £500 each to these households just so that they can make ends meet.
We're hearing about the despair of families every day who are caring for their disabled son or daughters and increasingly getting into debt. We've campaigned for government to do more. 50 charities wrote to Liz Truss and Rishi Sunak saying, can you do more? What are your plans to tackle the cost of living crisis? We haven't heard back from them. So we can't let government off the hook, but there is a responsibility for charities like us to step up and fill those gaps. And that's why we're applying that emergency fund. And we're working with another charity, Turn to Us, who are going to administer the grant. And that, as you say, is going out to 1,000 families. We want to do something positive and practical to put resources in the hands of disabled people and families who are in despair right now.
Tell us why it is worse for families with a disabled household member at the moment.
Yeah, I think even before the cost of living crisis, families were really struggling to cope. But life costs more if you're disabled. Disabled people and their families spend a greater proportion of their income on energy and food, for which prices are rising the greatest. And then there's the additional cost of disability, which is estimated to be £600 a month. The energy bill for a family looking after a son or daughter is twice that of a typical UK household. And families can't say, well, actually, we're going to stop charging the wheelchair, or we're not going to run the oxygen machine or nebulizer or feeding pump. They're the additional costs, and it's an emergency situation, and that's why we need some emergency support right now.
It really is. It just feels like sort of negative situation upon negative situation upon negative situation for families with disabled people. And it feels like it's been that way for so many years now. It feels like austerity particularly hit those who were reliant on local services, or perhaps, special groups for disabled children, which got cut. You must just feel, some days, you must just feel like, how do you even start to tackle this problem of having greater priority, actually, and value placed on people with disabled family members? How is it for you, kind of on a personal level, with the job that you're doing?
Well, it's hard because we've had the pandemic, we've had a health crisis, a social care crisis, and now we've got the poverty crisis. Our responsibility is to support children and adults with complex disabilities and their families. We've got a duty of care to make sure they've got every support that they have. And you've made a really good point. It's not just about financial hardships. Many people have seen their social care cut. So they're struggling to get the support that they need, and the financial situation makes it even worse. And people think there's no way out of it. The health and social care system would have collapsed without the support of carers, and yet carers struggle to get a short break. And if we don't give carers a short break, their mental health will really suffer. So it's really important that we get some insight of what it's like to have a son, a disabled son or daughter in your household. If you go into a typical household, you'll see the washing machine on all day. Families are saying to us, we might need to leave soiled clothes unwashed because we can't spend the energy. Disabled people need the heating on during the year to keep warm because of their medical condition. And people are saying, we're going to have to keep our son and daughter in one room, and because we can't afford to heat the whole house. And you would hear about people going into food banks. That's why we're acting. That's why today charities like Sense are stepping up to the plate and saying, we've got to do something now, today, to help people get through the next month. And then we'll campaign on government to do more, to intervene and provide greater support for disabled people.